Welcome to the Coleman Outdoors office here. Just for some clarification, since this is the first time you're seeing this office, that scrapbooking stuff is not mine. I am not the scrapbooker. That would be my wife, Erin. Eric's side of the office is on this side. I'm making a video on the creation of the logo for Coleman Outdoors YouTube channel. And since I am a crafty guy and I like to do woodworking and stuff, I decided to create my logo with an actual piece of wood, and we'll take a photograph, and hopefully that will be the opening logo in my video. I will show you what I've come up with here. This is a sign that you see in the U.S. National Forest quite a bit. A lot of times it'll say the John Muir Wilderness and whatever the forest you're in. If it's Inyo National Forest, that'll say that down there on the bottom. Going outside since 1972. I was born in 1972. So was I camping as a 2-month-old in December of 1972? Probably not. But I did come outside into the world in 1972. So I have been going outside since 1972, and that's why I decided I would have it say that there. And here's the piece of redwood. This is some sandblasted wood paneling that I got from a friend. See, it's very nicely textured, like an outdoor piece of redwood, but it was originally painted, but at one point then sandblasted all that off and caused that nice texture to show up. Here's the back. Wouldn't be as nice. So, in fact, here is an example of that wood being used in a sign that I created last year after my Mount Whitney hike. Adobe Illustrator, for those who do not know, was drawn in here. And then, many years ago, I discovered this wonderful tool. And it helps to have a wife who is a scrapbooker, because she brings home some neat stuff. And this is called a Cricut, and it's basically a vinyl cutter, plotter, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to cut out the template using the Cricut so that I can then transfer it to the piece of wood, and then we'll take it out to the garage and do the routing and the cutting and shaping of the outside. So it's called Sure Cuts a Lot, and it allows you to type in stuff in here, actually create what you want to have cut out of whatever material you're using. But by having it go directly from your computer onto your Cricut, and if you have the ability to illustrate or create designs in a software like Adobe Illustrator, then you're in luck, because you basically, sky's the limit with that machine, as long as you can cut the material that you want on there. I couldn't put that piece of wood and have it work. It's not a CNC router. It's a vinyl cutter or a paper cutter or whatever. So what I'm going to do is have this first section cut out on paper right there. Alright, so this is just going to allow me to transfer the image onto the piece of wood, and then do the manly cool stuff with the power tools. Done being cut out, so we'll go ahead and unload it here. As you can maybe see with the light hitting it, that it's cut out there. So let's see if this will work. No. Alright, so I've got the next section being cut, which you can't see up there. But as you can see, I've pulled the pieces out, and I put little marks on the pieces there for the center of a number or a letter, like the number 9. E, D, O. Just to get you the basic shape on the wood. Sure, the more accurate it is, whatever the closest you can get it to looking the way it was drawn digitally. But at the end of the day, it'll look cool once it's done. even if it doesn't match exactly the way it was drawn digitally. So I have laid down a little bit of spray adhesive on the actual template to hold it in there, to hold it on there. So right now I'm just gonna draw the perimeter. Hopefully I can make it dark enough. See what that looks like. Now I'm going to individually stick these pieces in here with some tape or something so that they stay in place while we do the next step. Okay. Pieces are pasted down, and I need to mask off this section up here and here with some paper. Okay, so you can see we've got it masked off here. We're going to use this stencil ink. I'm just going to do a light spritz on there, coming out like a, dang it. Okay, maybe a, doggone it. Alright, let's go out of the light here. There we go. Oh. This is not good. Oh well. Probably spraying too much on there, but it's all good. Let's see what it looks like. Could be worse. Knowing exactly where I need to go with the router bit is really what I need. It doesn't have to be super sharp. It would certainly help, but once you get that blade on there and you start, or that bit, and you start cutting around. Alright. You get the idea. Alright, we're here in the shop and we're ready to route this thing out. And it's a little blurry. So it'll turn out okay. But what we're going to do is we're going to route with the trim router the lettering first, and then we'll cut out the shape and then do some sanding. Not that I have to tell you about shop safety, but gonna be wearing some of these. Gonna be wearing my earmuffs, and then also gonna be wearing the respirator just because the dust gets crazy. And technically, it's my understanding that there's some sort of toxin-y stuff in redwood, but even just sawdust in general isn't good for your lungs. I am. I'm going to drop the depth on the bit a little bit for these bigger letters after I've gone through and cut everything else out. Make those a little bit fatter, but the fuzziness of those letters really makes it tough to follow. So, which is okay. It'll look fine by the time it's done, but would have been Would have been nicer if my stencil was stuck down a little bit better when I was spraying that on there, but oh well. Alright, here we go. Looks like it's all properly cut out. Now let's take it over to the bandsaw. Might be asking why I did such a sloppy job. Well, because I'm going to take it over to this oscillating belt sander over here and just make it nice and clean and make it easier. Not get to see was just the routing of these little, I don't know if they're called scalloped edges or what, but I don't know if you can see me either, but that's it. I'm going to clean it up a little bit because you can see that black stuff. I'm going to take a wire wheel to it on a drill and maybe clean up some of this a little bit with some sandpaper because yeah, it's not the best, but anyways, that's it. We'll go to the next step. This guy ready to be painted, and it takes a little time because it takes a little time. So just use some basics Liquid X semi cheap acrylic paint, and I believe I diluted it some when, I diluted it some with some water to make it a little bit easier to get into the nooks and crannies. Once the paint's in there, I mean, that's kind of what defines it, but you still get that three-dimensional look. I'll just show you the C. I'll get that done here. But there you go. There's a C. One letter down, 75 more to go, or whatever the number is. skipped a few parts here, and really nothing major, although I should have probably added it to the video. Was this post. Could have gone with the post being flat against the flat edge, but I thought I'd seen the sign where they had the post turned at I don't know what the term would be, 45 degrees. Anyways, I ran this, laminated a couple pieces of redwood together, and then ran that corner off on the bandsaw with the table turned at 45 degrees, and then glued them up so that you could get a nice glue edge on there. So that's what it looks like with it. Threw a little bit of stain on this post just to get it a little bit closer. Threw a little bit of stain on the edge to sort of bring the close. You know, I didn't really stain the wood itself. Maybe ran a semi damp rag, if that, across there to sort of just to sort of not make the contrast, so eliminate some of that stark contrast between this faded, sandblasted, textured wood with the freshly cut wood. Although at some point it'd probably even out with being out in the sun. But anyways, I wish I could have gotten the stain here on the redwood a little bit closer, but definitely not as stark a contrast as you can't really see where the stain isn't on the side there, but you get the idea. I think it's pretty good. Happy with it. All right, Jakey and I are going to come up this trail up here and see if we can get some good video shots of the Coleman outdoors sign. We've run out of sunlight. It's kind of waiting until the sun is going down so we get a little bit of sunlight bouncing off of it. Not too late. There's a lot of people that usually hike on this trail up here, but it's Rocky Peak Trail.